Okay, this is the video that's going to be in place of class on Tuesday for everybody. So nobody comes to class on Tuesday. Okay, I'll see the regular B cohort on Thursday. Okay, I have a family emergency I had to kind of go out of town for, but I'll be back by Thursday by class time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a Venn diagram. So if you had questions kind of about your sets on that worksheet, we're going to have to hold those questions off until I come back in class. Okay, or you can email me, but I probably won't be able to answer until Thursday. Okay, so Venn diagrams are going to be pictures of sets. All right, so I'm going to kind of hopefully share a PowerPoint with you. I'm hoping on a good day. All right, so let's see what happens if we do that. All right, here we go. All right, so here is our Venn diagram. All right, let me try something and make sure we're good. Okay, so share it. All right, let's go to the Venn diagram. Share that. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, now what's going to happen is you're going to have a U and an A and a B and a C. All right, so the universal set is always going to be drawn as a rectangle. Okay, so the universal set's always going to be a rectangle. And then you put your sets in like an A, a B, and a C. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill it in from inside out. Okay, so the first thing I did was see where A, B, and C all three intersect. So I went up here and looked to see if they all three have anything in common, and they all have a 2. Okay, so let's go up here and see if we can get something. Okay, all right, let's do this real quick. Okay, let's see if it'll let me try this real quick. All right, let me stop this share for a minute. It's doing something strange. Let me pull this PowerPoint back up, see if I can get it to do that so you can see it a little bit bigger. Okay, that's better. All right, so now let's go back and see if we can share this screen. Okay, and pull it up a little bit bigger so you can see it a little bit better. Much better. Okay, so we're back to what we were doing. Okay, so I'm going to fill in from the inside out. So I noticed they all have a 2. So notice that this part of the picture, do you see this little triangular kind of curvy triangle looking shape? That space is in all 3 circles. So that's where I've got to put the 2. That puts it in set A and in set B and in set C all at the same time. Okay, then do the pairs. It doesn't matter which pair you do first, arbitrarily decide to do A and B. So I go back up here. Do you see the only thing A and B have in common is a 2? Now they overlap on this teardrop shape. But in this teardrop shape, I've already got a 2 in there. So I'm certainly not going to redo it. Okay, so let me kind of clear that and put my 2 back. All right, so I'm not going to put a 2 in there because I've already got a 2 in A and B. Well, now look at B and C. B and C both have a 2, but they also both have a 5. Well, now B and C overlap in this teardrop shape. So there's supposed to be a 2 and a 5 in there. Well, there's already a 2, but there needs to be a 5. Now, do you understand why I've got to put the 5 here? I can't put the 5 there. It would put it in A, and A doesn't have a 5 in it. Okay, so now I've got 2 and 5 where A and B overlap. Well, now look and see where A and C overlap. Well, A and C overlap right there on that teardrop shape. Well, B and C both have a 2, but they also both have what? A and C both have a 2 and both have a 4. So you put a 4 right there. Okay, so 2 was in all 3 sets at the same time. A and B, see A and B overlap in that teardrop shape and they only have a 2 in there. B and C both have a 2 and a 5. So sure enough, where B and C overlap, there's a 2 and there's a 5. And then where A and C overlap, there should be a 2 and a 4. So sure enough, there's a 2 and a 4 where A and C overlap. Okay, after you've done the triple and the doubles, then go do the singles. Inside of A, I need a 2, a 4, and a 6. Well, I've already got the 2 and the 4, but I'm missing the 6. But I can't put it here or here because that would stick it in some sets it doesn't need to be in. All right, inside of circle or set B, I need 2, 3, 5, 7. So do I have 2, 3, 5, 7? See, I've got the 2 and the 5, but I'm missing the 3. So the 3's got to be somewhere, and I'm missing my 7. Well, inside of C, I need a 1, 2, 4, and 5. So I look. Inside of my C, I have the 2, the 4, and the 5, but I'm missing the 1. And then inside of the universal set, inside of that rectangle, I need all of these numbers. Well, I've got a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7. What am I missing? I'm missing the 8. Well, see, that 8 has to be inside the rectangle, but it can't be inside the circle. So I could put it anywhere outside the circles, but inside the rectangle. 8. So that is a Venn diagram representation of these sets. And you'll have some to do for homework like that. Now, why do people draw these things? Because sometimes these answers are easier to see from a picture than they are from the list. What's in A union B? That's everything in A together with everything in B. So do you see in A union B, I would have a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7. That's what they have in common. So I could get it from looking at this or from looking at the picture. Remember what the complement of A is. You have to go up here to this universal set. You'd have to cross out a 2, a 4, and a 6. And then everything that's left would be the complement. Or you could look right here. If you delete this circle, you'd have a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, and an 8 left. So that's in the complement of A. So you can kind of try this one and see what you think it might be. A union B would be what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, what does that have in common with C? 2, 4, 5, and a 1. Do you see that that would be a 2, a 4, and a 5? So you might stop it and try that and kind of see if you agree. Okay, but what you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to change a listing to a Venn diagram. So do the triple. What do they all have in common first? And put it in that middle part. Then do the doubles and fill that in. And then finally finish with the singles. Put things that are missing, but don't forget to double check and see if there's something in that universal set, in that rectangle, that's not in those circles. Okay, now let's look at the next thing we've got to be able to do with it. Okay. All right. They're going to ask you to do a Venn diagram shading. So they'll say, draw a Venn diagram or a Venn diagram shading of this. Well, now, this time they didn't tell me what was in A, B, C, or U. So it's not the things on the previous slide. I don't know what's in set A, I don't know what's in set B, and I don't know what's in set C. Now, some people can just look at it and do a final shading. All right, I can't do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's see if we can get it to do this. Okay, let's see. All right, let's get it to clear all those drawings off. Some people can just shade automatically, but I'm not very good at that. So what I did for scratch work is I just numbered the regions. Now, it doesn't matter where you put the 1. But when you draw this, there are 8 particular pieces. Do you see that part B is just what's number 3 is just what's in B and nothing else? And 8 is what's outside all the circles. And 5 is where they overlap. So I just numbered each of the 8 regions. That's my scratch work. And then follow your order of operations and then shade your answer. So what do I mean? Well, in my parenthesis, it says B union C. So I went and looked in B. In B, I have pieces 2, 3, 5, and 6. All right, so I listed those out. Inside of C, I had pieces or regions 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then B union C means all of it. So that would be this part number 2, this part 3, this part 4, this part 5, this part 6, this part 7. So all of that would be in B union C. Now, what am I going to do with this one? Well, it says take that answer and intersect it with A. Well, now look in A. What regions are in A? 1, 2, 4, 5. So I wrote down, well, in A, I've got 1, 2, 4, 5. So I'm going to take this piece A, this answer, and I'm going to do what with them? I'm going to intersect them. So remember, that's what they have in common. So do you see that they both have a 2? They both have a 4. And they both have a 5. So that's what's in A intersected with this union, 2, 4, and 5. Now, how do I know when I'm done? When this looks like your original. And then that's what you would shade in. So you take your pencil and you'd go shade in number 2, you'd shade in number 4, and you'd shade in number 5. So you'd shade it in really dark. So that is a Venn diagram shading of this thing right here. Now, sometimes what they're going to do is they're going to ask you if 2 things are equal. So what do we do if they ask you if 2 things are equal? Well, the easiest thing to do is to simply draw Venn diagrams for both and see if you get what you need. Okay, so I'm going to clear all these drawings. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next slide. Now look at this next slide. All right, true or false, these 2 things are equal. Well, what I would do is I would do a Venn diagram shading of both and see if the pictures match. Now, this is the one we just did on the other slide. So you can go back to the previous slide over here and we have our scratch work. Remember, that's what we shaded. Well, let's do a shading of this one. Now, in this one, I've got to do A intersect B first because it's in a parenthesis. So I went and looked. Remember, I drew my rectangle and I drew my sets and I numbered my regions again. Well, in A, I have pieces 1, 2, 4, 5, so I wrote that down. In B, I have pieces 2, 3, 5, and 6, and I'm supposed to intersect that. Remember, that's what's in both of them at the same time. It's where they overlap. Well, do you see that they both have a 2 and they both have a 5? So that's what's in A intersect B, 2 and 5. Now I'm supposed to union that with C. Well, what's in C? 4, 5, 6, 7. So inside of my C, I wrote down 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm supposed to take the answer to A intersect B and C, and I'm supposed to union it. Now remember, what does union mean? It means all of it. So that'd be this 2 would be in there, this 4, this 5, this 6, and this 7. Now how would I know to stop? Because this looks like this original. So this is what I'm going to shade. I'm going to shade region 2. Okay. And then I'm going to shade region 4 and region 5, and then region 6, and then region 7. Now I've got to be careful. It's hard to do with this little mouse that I've got. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to take my eraser for a second. I want to erase that little part right. Well, I erased the whole thing, didn't I? All right, let's go try one more time. See if I can do it without getting it outside of something. Okay. All right. So I would have to shade in region 2. I still want to get it in region 3. Region 2, 5, 4, 6, and 7. Now, look at your 2 shadings. Does this shading look like this shading? No. So this would be false. These 2 things are not alike. So order that I do things matters when I'm doing sets. If I change the order, I'm probably going to change the answer. So you're going to have some homework to go do. Okay. So I need you to, like I said, you can watch the video again, freeze where you need. Okay. So if you need any help, come see me.